Hey everybody, it's Rob with the Trucking Resources channel, and welcome to our home office here at Finch Resources LLC, which means it's actually an office in my basement. We are a 2-truck company, so can't afford the big fancy offices, but that's okay. What I'm going to talk to you about here today is our big W900, and what I think is one of the biggest problems with Kenworths from back in the day. I don't know how long they ran these, but the heater and AC box, everything's included in one on the Firewall. It's got the heater core, AC condenser, and the blower motor all in one. And they tend to rot away. They're made out of steel. It's super easy to work on. You can get to the blower motor faster than just about anything in a Kenworth. But again, they rot away, and there are some companies that came up with solutions for this. I looked around for a little bit, and I decided to go with Soaring Eagle. And the reason I went with Soaring Eagle is because it's what 4-State sells, home of the Chrome Shop Mafia. I've come to trust 4-States for a lot of parts. They tend to have some of the best prices. And so I decided to go with that one. It's a complete unit on the front. It has a heater core, AC condenser, and blower motor. I've been told it's an upgraded blower motor. I've been told you can get these components separate. I think you can get just the box if you want, put your own components in it, but I chose to go with the complete unit. And I decided I would show you guys how I installed it. Remember, I'm not a mechanic. I do have a shop. I have a pretty nice selection of tools, but definitely not a full mechanic set. So I wanted to show you what I did. So I ordered it from 4-States last week. I actually got a pretty good deal on it. I went with the aluminum box for $1,125. I think that the stainless steel box, I think it's right around $1,290. I don't want to say for sure. It's close to $1,300, but not quite. But I went with the aluminum box. I thought that would fit our needs just right. And I then found a coupon code because 4-States always has good coupon codes. So I think all in all, I think I paid about that $1,120. I think I got about $50 off of it, and then ended up paying $50 for shipping. So I think I paid about $1,125 for it. Anyway, so it came in the mail. It's beautiful. Now it's time to install this on the truck. So the first thing you do to install this on a Kenworth is you have to evacuate your AC system. I didn't do that. I don't have them kind of tools. My shop that does some work for me when, the stuff I can't do, they evacuated the system for me. The next thing you do is you empty your coolant system. I don't think you have to empty it the whole way. I did. But I emptied it. I don't actually have video of that. I did have video of that. It wasn't pretty. I made a mess of myself. It was, because I can't empty everything at once. I got to put it into a 5-gallon and put it back in. When I put it back in, it shot everywhere. The next time I took the bolt out, you don't want to see it. You don't want to see it. You don't know how to empty coolant. You probably shouldn't do this job anyway. Apparently, I didn't do it very well. Anyway, now I need a beer. Now, so I will get into this video here. The very first thing I did, and I'll go through it real quick, was I took off the, all the air lines that run for the air cleaner lines. I only showed it real quick. This truck obviously is a W900. It's a 2004 W900, dual air cleaners, but every truck's different. I know that these heater boxes are for the T600s, the T800s. You'll have to look on their website. I think I even heard it goes way down to even like little box trucks and stuff that they make for these. So I took that stuff off to get it out of the way. And then after that, I went through and took the bolts out for the upper cover. And you take that upper cover out, and the upper cover on the original one has the blower motor installed on it. You take it out, unhook the blower motor, It's what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just a couple bolts. You'll see. Upper cover there. So then I went into, and there was actually some time down on this because I was looking to see what I had to disconnect as far as AC lines, and I messed around with it for a little bit. Then I realized it's pretty easy. You just take the expansion valve off that's mounted right there, and then you take the bolts off out of there. So what I did was I took the 2 bolts out for the expansion valve. I think they're 10 millimeter bolts. Yeah, I forget exactly what I used. Then I went in, I disconnected the lower line, and that was pretty easy and a little bit tedious, so we'll shorten it up here for you. But then I disconnected the upper line, and we took that out. So again, I'm not an AC guy at all. I don't know much about AC. I actually hate it. I've been, yeah. I bought equipment. I have different equipment for AC. I can't ever figure it out. It always seems like when there's a problem, I need, some kind of expert at the system. So we removed the expansion valve and then took all that out. Then I realized when we did that over on the right side there is a couple of those rubber clamps. They're metal, but they have rubber on the inside to protect the hose. They're mounted there to hold the AC lines in. And so I decided to try to take the bolt out and spent way too much time on this. And then I realized, hey, wait a second. I'm replacing all this stuff. So then I got out the grinder. I love it when I get out the grinder. And in about 2 seconds, it was done. Right, 1, 2, 3. I'll give it 3 seconds. It was off. So then we move along. Now everything's out of the way. It's still in place, but out of the way. I can push everything out of the way. There was another hold on that down at the bottom that I removed out of the way to push it, and they weren't my way anymore. So the next step was to remove the lower cover. There's quite a few bolts on there. There's bolts around the bottom, and then there's the bracket that actually holds on the expansion valve. There's some insulation, things like that in the way. But we move all that out of the way, and then we can remove the lower cover. Once all that's done, then you can remove the AC condenser out of there and just wiggle it around a bit. It comes out, and as you can see, this was a good decision to replace the AC condenser. That thing is nasty. Maybe it could have been cleaned. It's probably original to the truck, but very happy to see that gone. I'm glad we made the decision to replace everything. The next thing that's in your way is the 2 heater hoses. There's 2 heater hoses on the bottom of the heater core, obviously. Not sure how they're held on in your truck. I'll speed through it here that I was removing these. It's pretty simple. Remove heater hoses. You see, I went to multiple wrenches, but, I eventually got it done. Again, like I said, I'm not a mechanic. Next thing I'm going to show you is, once I removed the heater hoses, I was under the understanding that the heater core should just pop out. And it did, except there's a plate on the top. The blower motor was up here. There's a plate on the top, and then the condenser's below it. And there's also your freeze sensor, I guess it is. We'll get to that on the install later. That gets discarded. This new unit comes with the new, I'm pretty sure it's called a freeze sensor. And there's also an actuator for your recirc door. So there's a couple wires on there. You got to pop them wires off. You'll see how I messed here with it for a little bit, and finally got it all unhooked and managed to pop that whole thing out here eventually. So after I got everything disconnected, you'll notice I wasn't too easy on it. I didn't really care. I'm getting rid of it. I guess there's a right way to take it out. I just kind of pounded it out and eventually managed to pull it out. Just watch out for that actuator, because that actuator does get reused. On the new one, you'll have to switch it over, and again, I'll show you that on the install video. But I did manage to pop everything out, and then, as you'll see, the heater core came right out. And the heater core was pretty much just as dirty as the AC condenser was. So again, I'm very glad I went with the complete unit. I didn't even price it separately. I figured if somebody makes it, I'm gonna do it all. And so that's what I did. I pulled that out. Heater core comes out. Now your box is totally empty. So over on the side, on Kenworth, you know, they have the outside cabin filters on there. And you'll see the whole ventilation system over there. It's actually pop riveted in at a few places. You'll see here where I pointed out the pop rivets on this. Few ones, it's pretty easy to notice. And after the pop rivet, there's 2 screws. I don't know if they're all like this. This is on, like I said, on a W900. There's 2 screws on the outside that were right in front of where that air inlet is. And so I took them screws out. All pretty easy. I'll speed it up here because you don't need to watch me taking screws out. What I didn't show you was me drilling out the pop rivets. The reason I didn't show you that is because I did not drill out the pop rivets. Again, this is all getting discarded. It was easier. I had the grinder right there. I just ground the ends off, popped the rivets out. I'm going to say it's right. If I was reusing that heater box, I probably wouldn't have done it that way. But I did. And once you get them pop rivets out and those 2 screws, it's real easy to grab this vent here. You just pull it out, and I had some wires in the way, and wires have been there. You see me moving that bar there with my right hand. That's actually, I should have removed that ahead of time. I didn't realize how easy it was to remove. But that's actually the bar that's going to go over to that actuator that I talked about. And like I say, that's for your fresh air or your recirculation. And so at this point, the only thing that we have there is this box in place. It's a big, empty, rotted out box. So I'll show you from the inside. I did not show you guys me taking my lower kick panel out of this. Like I said, this is 2004. They only ran this interior for a couple of years. Every truck's a little bit different. But I got to believe on the Firewall, because this box is for them, that they're all going to be about the same. So it was like 3 screws to remove the kick panel. That came out. And then I'll show you here where I had removed the bolts ahead of time. But there was one in the bottom. There right in the middle. And there's also one on the outside. The right inside or the left outside. And that was pretty easy to get to. There's a harder one to get to. And I just could not get the camera even in there to see it. But it's actually not real horrible once you see it. It's pretty much exactly opposite of the one that's on the outside there. And yeah, not too hard. Them 3 bolts come out. Now I'll show you where the 2 bolts are here on the top. One there and one there. They weren't even bolts. I guess they were studs. I don't know. Or maybe they just rotted away over the years. I don't know how. Yeah, don't really know how bad it was. But again, I was not reusing anything, so out came the trusty grinder. This was not near as easy as it looks like it was, but it still was pretty easy. Like I said, I was not reusing any of these parts, and I probably would have worked a little bit harder if I was. So now I took the 3 bolts off, 3 bolts off the bottom, ground off the 2 bolts off the top. Now it should pop right out. But there's actually a grommet in the top where the wires go down to everything that I forgot to take out. So here I am pulling this box out. I'm all excited because the box is ready to come out, and now I got to mess with these wires. And I'm showing you this because the one for that actuator is a pretty thick wire, so you got to get all the little ones out to fit the big one up through. It's just easier if it would have done while it was still connected to the wall. But eventually I did manage to pull them all up through. So now, after I get them out of the way, there was all kinds of insulation, different things. Like I said, these things get so rotted that it was really in horrible shape. But I did manage to get it all out, pull it all out of the way. I'll move it over here to the bench. I actually have it sitting on my parts washer, where I can show you just how bad a shape this thing is. Rotted. That in there is where the heater and heater core and AC condenser were. You see where it blows in up top. Just everything rotted. See all that duct tape? This is when I first realized there was a problem, but did not have time to order this and get the parts. I actually took duct tape to try to cover that up, and you can see it's rotted right through the side. When it rots like that, the air is not going to blow where it needs to. It's supposed to be a fairly sealed unit. So yeah, that's just, I can't say anything good about all the rot that was on that. It was nasty. So now everything's been removed from the firewall. It's pretty much open. Everything it's all vents inside there going into the truck. You're going to notice here on the firewall a pretty maroon paint. That was the original color of this truck. You'll hear me complain about different things. I'm going to do some videos about how much of a nightmare this truck has been over the years. However, we finally got it up to a great shape. But that pretty maroon, that was the original color of this truck, and somebody painted it bright yellow. I don't hate the yellow, but I really love the maroon. So there's the empty firewall. Everything's ready to go for the next day. I did clean it up a little bit. And then I got to walk over to the workbench, to what I'd been trying to ignore for a little bit because I just had to get the old stuff out. But there's our beautiful new box. Everything is complete in there. You'll see on part 2 on the installation video. I had to take all that apart. Not a big deal at all. I mean, really, 2 minutes. Take it all apart, put it together, but look how pretty that is. Imagine the airflow you're going to get through that heater core. The condenser's in front of it. It's got the front cover on it. It's got that high power blower motor. They say it's an upgraded blower motor. I can't wait to try it. Tomorrow we're going to do the video of the install, and hopefully it goes well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and definitely watch the next one. I'm going to get it out hopefully tomorrow. It might be the next day, but I will get the install video out because really that's what everybody wants to see. They want to see that new thing going in there. So hey, thanks for watching. I enjoyed a couple beverages. Thanks for joining us at our luxurious home office, and I will catch you next time. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're going to do some more stuff like this. And if anybody has an idea, if anybody thinks I did something wrong, let me know too. Because, there's a lot of mechanics watching stuff that might tell me a way better way to do things. Because like I said, I'm not a mechanic. I own 2 trucks. I learn a lot of what I learned from watching YouTube videos, asking mechanics. Always ask mechanics. That's what resources is all about. Ask mechanics. Ask anybody you know that might know more than you. And if you know more than everybody else, well, then this channel probably isn't for you. So thanks a lot. And like I said, remember to like and subscribe.